Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're well and welcome to another episode on the Crypto Princess channel. Today, we'll be talking about Bitcoin and real estate. I'm really passionate about this because I'm so lucky that I've been able to pay off the house that I'm in. But it was very difficult, and I'm very concerned about how other people are able to afford homes of their own. So just quickly, just before we start, we'll be doing a lot of things. We'll be talking about a lot of things today, so I'll do it really quite quickly. Let's just check who's in the chat. So hello, Shadow Chaser. I hope you're well. We've got Rob C. Rob C, I'm actually broadcasting onto Twitch. Could you just have a little look if it is broadcasting? I'm not entirely sure. I was on Twitch the other day and I couldn't see any of my past live streams. I think 2 of them should already be there. M Ninja, good day. How are you? And Taylor Fitzpatrick, I hope you're well. Much respect to the Irish. I love what the Irish are doing for the Palestinians. Much respect to you, Taylor. Dojball, welcome. Jessie, how are you, Jessie? I hope you're well. And give my love to the missus. Sorry, I forgot her name. Erica, wasn't it? Erica. Bless her. Peace of my mind. Yes, Randy's absolutely amazing. For those people who don't know, my live stream starts straight after Randy's, and her channel redirects to mine. Later on, Piper's crew will be joining us. We've got the one and only Black Hat team. How are you? And David Bowles, I hope you're well. Thank you for giving me a follow on X. I do know everyone who follows me and what all my community is doing. Shadow Chaser again, hello. Oh my God, you guys are talking amongst yourselves. I've got such a lovely community. I really have. And then we've got JC. How are you, JC? I don't know. I think it's your first or second time here. I hope you're well. And Nick FLP, how are you? I hope you're well. BBB X1. I hope you're well. Good day to you. Oh, do I have a... Oh, you must be American. Yes, everybody says I have a British accent. I personally do not notice it at all. There you go. I don't notice it at all. I think I speak like everyone else, but there you go. Black Hat again. Yes, so my social links will be coming up. Black Hat and Jessie will link them in. But also we've got Nightbot, which is a new addition to our family. And he'll be coming along with all the social links as well. So I do have an X account, a Telegram group, and also a Discord. And then we've got the one and only Mr. Alex Storyteller, who's been with me since before I started YouTube. My community is absolutely amazing. I absolutely love my community so much. Yep, the Brits in the house. Oh, there we go. Nightbot is now active, so soon he'll be coming around. Right, okay, so this topic, the one that we're going to be talking about today, is very close, it's very dear to my heart, because I've struggled a huge amount when it comes to owning your own property. Now, to make the choice between Bitcoin and real estate obviously depends on your personal goals, your risk tolerance, your time horizon, and market conditions. Nothing in this live stream or any of the live streams that I do or any of the content that I make is financial advice. It's a huge topic, and we might have more than one stream on it because I do have an awful lot of experience with this. I come from a family of landowners as well, and I do own a number of other properties as well. We'll cover things like mortgages, hand-me-down properties, and we'll go into a little bit of detail into inflation, the debt crisis. We'll talk about my personal journey in real estate. I've had to sacrifice so much to where I am today, unlike my two sisters who married rich men, which was, jolly good of them. They didn't have to struggle very much. But I have had to. And I'll also give my thoughts on what I would do now if I had to start again. Thank God I'm not starting again. But if I had to start again, what would I do now with all my knowledge about Bitcoin? Okay, so my real estate journey begins at the age of 17. I bought my first property with my ex-partner when I was 17. We bought it in my hometown, which was a very, very posh, very upper class town. Everything was very, very expensive. We bought a one-bedroom flat. So that's what we did first. We bought a one-bedroom flat. We got it slightly cheaper because it was in a council estate. That kind of means nothing when you come from Buckinghamshire, because even the council estates there, people have standards. So there wasn't much antisocial behavior. There wasn't much crimes in my hometown, to the point for years my dad would just literally leave the door open. And the only thing that we had to worry about was like a stray dog or a stray cat coming into the house. Never once did we have, anyone sort of like when you're worried, like you have to lock your car, my dad would he would go out, he would turn on the car and he would leave it running, and he would come in and get ready for the morning or finish his coffee or whatever he was doing and then go out. That's how safe it was. We didn't have a murder in my hometown for over 30, I want to say 37 years, but well over 30 years, we never had a murder. In fact, I remember the first time that there was a murder in the town. I was quite young. Again, I was actually 17 or 18 years old. And it was the talk of the town, like, oh my God, like nothing exciting happened in our town. Not that a murder is exciting. I'm not saying that whatsoever, but I'm just saying it was a very boring, very posh area. The property we got was a little bit cheaper because it was in a council estate. However, at the age of 17, my partner was older than me. It's just what you had to do. You had to get out. A lot of my cousins, and I will be speaking about them, because what they decided to do was they decided to go down the council house route, and unfortunately they've got nowhere. They've absolutely got nowhere. So 17, I bought my first property. It was a one-bedroom council house. It was beautiful. It was in a good part of town. It was expensive, hugely expensive, but it was affordable. I was working, my partner was working, blah de blah de blah. We did have a little bit of help from my father. Let's have a look. Hornet, how are you? Would I marry a handsome broken man? I would marry any man. He does not have to be handsome. I've already done that. I've had the six-pack man. That doesn't matter to me. But no, I would never marry anyone who had less money than me. That's the honest truth. I'm not going to lie about it. I wouldn't be able to respect them, unfortunately. So that was 2017. So sorry, that was when I was 17. What we then did was 2 years later, we sold our one-bedroom flat. We got a huge amount, like 50, 60,000 pounds equity from the flat. And then we bought over a large 3-bedroom, or a decent size 3-bedroom house, with a 140-foot garden. Unfortunately, I don't like to garden. My ex used to garden. But we bought it in a different area of the UK. So from where I was living, it was so damn expensive. So expensive. And I don't even know, I mean, because it was quite close to London, it was on the tube, it was the last town on the tube, blah, de, blah, de, blah. So expensive. The high street was literally coffee shops. It was coffee shops and banks. That was pretty much it. That was the high streets. High street. Came out of that town. Bought a 3-bedroom house for the same price. So a 1-bedroom flat in my hometown cost the same amount of money as, or just a 3-bedroom house was just a little bit more expensive. So it kind of like depends. So we were in a very expensive area, then we were in a moderately expensive area. And then that's where the fun started. And this is why I have so much, I don't know, I'm just one of those people that care for other people. I've always had this issue. I do need to probably see a professional. I've always cared for people, and I just do not know if I hadn't have bought that property, that particular property, because it was undervalued when we bought it, how I could have got the house that I was in, because we didn't have any help from anyone else. And we just got the equity out of that property, if that makes sense. Otherwise, we would never have been able to afford this house. And then and the other thing that we did do is I sold the first property. I sold it myself. I was never going to pay for estate agents. I think they wanted 1 or 2% or something similar of the asking price. But I wasn't going to do that. So I sold it myself. I actually sold it back to the council. Right. Okay. So then we had at 21, I had a 3-bedroom house. I still had my partner with me. And life was really, really hard, because for all the Brits who are here, oh, look, Harp's in the chat. Hello, Harp. How are you? Pretty sure Harp's a Brit. Not 100% sure. Pretty sure. Harp. Oh, there we go. We got Army Piper. Army Piper's redirecting. Well, it doesn't matter, Army Piper. As long as you're here, everything's good. And we've got Mark Volmer. And I'm just going to see if there's anyone else new who's coming to the chat. Exit Grubner, welcome to you. I think that's about it. Oh, sorry, I do apologize. Alexandra G, our mod queen, our favorite mod. We love you. We love Alexandra G. Okay, so at 21, I discovered it was Martin Lewis. So the Brits will know who Martin Lewis is, or if they don't, they do need to look into the website called Money Savings Expert. From there, I discovered, or I learnt to run the house more efficiently. So it was changing all the electricity to the cheapest supplier, the gas to the cheapest supplier, the home insurance to the cheapest supplier, all the rest of it. And then also I learnt that we should be overpaying our mortgage. So mortgages normally in the UK are about 25 years, which is quite a lot of time. But if you overpay the mortgage, you can get rid of it, and that's exactly what we did. I'm actually mortgage free from the pandemic 2020. So what we did, I remember the first time I actually put some money into the mortgage, I'd received £5,000, or I had an excess of £5,000. Bearing in mind there was 2 of us, all the rest of it, and I just decided to put that into the mortgage instead of going out and buying all the rubbish that I would probably have bought with that. And then when my other half got on board, that's when it really kicked off, because he was very much more stringent on it. He was like, "Look, we got to do it. We got to do it." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm the one who's telling you to do it." But he went up a notch. I had literally no money for myself. We put everything into the mortgage, to the point for about 2 years, my life was literally eating one frozen pizza a day, and that was it. That is how frugal I've lived my life. Like, literally, we put everything that we had into the mortgage. We never upgraded our cars. We bought used cars. We didn't buy clothes. We didn't buy all the accessories. I mean, all the luxury things that everyone else took for granted. We didn't do that. All we did was continuously pay into the mortgage. Now, by the time the pandemic hit, we actually had enough to completely cover and take out the mortgage, which we did. And we were so grateful, because we couldn't work when the pandemic was going on. But that's how I became mortgage free. I was very lucky. We bought we bought a flat, which is cheaper than a house, and then we moved up. We got the equity out, we bought the house, and then we lived really frugally for a good couple of years, and that was literally it. It was a very difficult time, but we enjoyed things like going out to the park and all the rest of it, all the freebie stuff. I wouldn't do half the stuff. I don't think I could actually do that again. If I'm completely honest, I don't think I can do or live that life again. It was really difficult. And then on top of that, because I have my family and I have my sisters who just literally just married rich men, and I was just like, yeah, probably should have done that, actually. That would have been probably a little bit better, if that made sense. Yeah, and I mean, that's something that a woman can do. I'm not going to lie about it and all the rest of it. Women can marry rich men. And the other way around, it's just not the same, if that makes sense. Buying a property nowadays, honestly, I don't think I'd be able to do it. Especially not by myself. Yeah, you do, because you got to do, yeah. Okay, right. Let's have a look at it now. So we're gonna take, so when I did my live stream, 34% of my viewers were American. So we're not going to take Britain as an example. We're going to look at America. Buying real estate in America was once the American dream. It's almost impossible now for the younger generation. Oh, thank you, Jessie. So it's significantly harder for most Americans today to buy real estate compared to their grandparents' generation. And this is due to a combination of different things, such as house prices, inflations, interest rates, and supply shortages as well. So I'm saying a long time ago, in the 1950s and 70s, a medium home cost, I do apologize, 1 second. A medium home cost 2 or 3% of the average household income. Bearing in mind, back in the 1950s and 70s, that it was the husband basically went out to work, if that makes sense. Nowadays, often it's the husband and wife working, and it's often 6 to 8% of their income, and it's much higher in places like California, New York, DC. In the 1970s, a normal home an average home would cost about 25,000 US dollars, and the mean income was about 9,000 US dollars. in the 2020s, nowadays, you're looking at, and this is according to the internet I've got this from, 420,000 US dollars, when the normal income, the average income is 75,000 US dollars. For the Americans out there, would you agree with this? Would you agree that an average house in America, bearing in mind America's like massive, absolutely massive, is around about 400,000 US dollars, and the average income is 75,000? Oh, yeah. Oh gosh, yep. So M Ninja agrees. I used to walk in the snow uphill barefoot to pay my mortgage. Oh, but you know what? Today, I don't know if you've paid it off, because I haven't read all of the chat. Hang on. Mark Volmer, you've hit something that I'm going to be talking about a little bit later. I will also be talking about the taxes as well. The taxes as well. Actually, it was sacrifice. Yeah, that's one way of thinking about it. Oh, and we've got Gary Littlemore in the chat. Welcome, Gary. I hope you're well. I haven't seen you for a while. Oh my God, Alexandra G, no way, 900,000 in California. My goodness, jeez. Anyway, the results basically is homes are far, far less affordable relative to what people earn and how their grandparents, what it was like in their grandparents' age. Okay, mortgages. So even if you're able to afford a mortgage, mortgages have changed as well. So down payments are bigger. They're a massive barrier now. 20% down on a house in the 1970s could have been 5,000 US dollars. 20% down, a down payment on a house last year could have been 80,000 US dollars. 80,000 US dollars. That's more than most people have saved in total. Bearing in mind, most people nowadays don't know how to save. I don't know whose fault that is. That's probably something for another live stream. Could it be social media and all this TikTok and Instagram lifestyle that everybody's looking at nowadays? Meanwhile, student debt has exploded and young people have less savings. Mortgage rates, so that's the mortgage. The down payments are almost impossible now. And then you have mortgages. So even when you had the pandemic 2020 2021, you had a mortgage rate of 2.5, maybe 3%. As of mid this year, they are around 4.5 to 7.5%. That dramatically raises monthly payments. And this is something that I've seen here in the UK as well. So one of my school friends, a lot of my friends I've actually known since I was at school, her mortgage was something like £600 last year. She's had to remortgage, and it's almost double. I think it's 1,300. She's got children, and she has to stay at home with the kids because what's it saying? Childcare is so expensive. Hello, David. I hope you're well. I hope you're well. So we've just spoken about down payments. They're ridiculously high. You've got to save. And then obviously the mortgage rates are very difficult, are very high at the moment. In the 1960s and 70s, America built 1.5 to 2 million homes per year. Nowadays, home building has dropped, especially affordable starter homes. Labor shortages, land costs, land restriction, all the rest of it. There's a lot of Americans in here. They will tell you all the difficulties with actually getting new homes built in America. And just spare a thought for England. Okay, for the UK, we're a tiny island. There's not very many places we can build. Like with America, it's still absolutely massive. Grandparents, they didn't have, so we're talking about again the 60s, 70s, 50s, 60s, 70s era, they didn't have student loans, and we'll come to student loans. It's ridiculous. Is a degree even worth it now? I mean, I can tell you something, an art degree is definitely not worth it. But our other degrees, some degrees are worth it, some of them are not worth it. And if I'm completely honest, nowadays they need a lot more tradespeople than they do with these white collar jobs. And we've got AI. A lot of these people will be out of jobs very soon. Very high childcare costs. People are delaying having a family because they can't afford to have a stable home. Very expensive healthcare insurance in America. Thank God we've got the NHS, which is not amazing, but I don't think the American healthcare system's that good either. Today's buyers are dealing with rent inflation, and it's harder to save money. Our neighbor actually rents out a house. Our next, well, she's now moved in there. And I really hate the way that she was treating all of her tenants. The tenants will come and they would leave after a year or 2 years. And I would go, sorry, about 2 or 3 years, they would leave. And I would ask them, why, why have you left? And it was the same story again and again. When we first came for 6 months, the price was X amount, and then it got to X amount, and then it just went higher and higher and higher. And what she did was she would set her rent at a certain rate for 6 months, and then she'll renew it and put up the price. And she did that so many times. We've got Tony in the chat. Hello, Tony. How are you? I hope you're well. Tony's like my crypto brother. I love him so much. Housing, the bottom line is it's very hard to buy houses nowadays in America or in most parts of the world. The younger generations are facing a housing market where the homes just cost so much more than their income. Borrowing is expensive. There's a severe shortage of affordable homes. Saving is harder due to other financial problems. And the American dream of home ownership hasn't disappeared, but for many it's delayed. It feels out of range, especially without family support, dual incomes, or co-buying, or any of this sort of stuff. Oh, okay. So is it Tuesday? Yes, it's Tuesday. So Givers Gain have a live stream today. Do check it out. Okay. Well, we've touched upon quite a few things. We will touch upon why it's hard for people to save. This again is something that I have a lot of experience in, because like I said, I struggled. I bought my house. It was very, very difficult. I bought a flat, then I bought the house, blah, de, blah, de, blah. My sisters just got married to rich men. My cousins, on the other hand, they went into council housing, sort of government housing where they just pay rent. I struggled for years. For years, we struggled. We paid off the mortgage. It was a top priority for us. But every time that I went to my cousins' houses, and every time I saw them, bearing in mind these were people who were in rented accommodation, I really felt, I'm not going to say it, how should I word it? Angry? Almost like, what the hell, you stupid people? Like, I'd go to their house and they will have the largest TV, the latest iPhones. Some of them had kids, and they were like designer trainers for their kids and all the rest of it. I'm like, dude, how do you have this money? Like, how, obviously we were overpaying our mortgage, and what they were doing is still saving for a rainy day. And none of them, by the way, absolutely none of them have bought their council houses. So they were like, okay, so there was a scheme, or there is a scheme where you can actually buy from the council if you've been in your house long enough. None of them can afford it now. Why? Because the house prices have gone up and because they never saved. And on top of that, sometimes when we talk, and I remember talking to my cousin a while back, and she was like, oh, yeah, I can't buy my. Oh, actually, no, I think she did buy her council house. So there's one that did buy her council house. And she said, we had so many issues buying the council house because we had so many problems with money. And I'm like, how could you have problems with money? Like, what are you talking about? Your husband was working, all the rest of it. And, you were earning an income. He was earning the income. How did you have problem with money? I just don't get it. And then I was like, oh, I couldn't say anything. I didn't want to say anything. 2 cars per household, nice cars, all the rest of it. And I'm just like, it's your fault. It is your fault. They really kind of like, I don't know, they bring something out of me. I think it's because of the journey that I had. Oh my God, Wick's here. Let me just quickly read what he's written. 1 second. Oh, if Brian was here, he'd be like, do you still not go to Specsavers to get your glasses? See, the thing is, okay, so you can't blame them for having so can you blame them for having TV? I think I can, actually. I think I can. Okay, so when I'm saying that they had a TV, I'm saying they had a TV, but they had lots and lots of other things as well. You don't just have a TV. If it was just one TV, it would be fine. Right, I understand what you're saying, because yeah, you can buy peanut butter for $18 a jar, which is absolutely ridiculous. I didn't know that. I would never buy any of that stuff, if that makes sense. I would never do that. No, no, I would never do that. Oh, Wick, he was not here before. Oh, hello there. F-bomb. I don't know. We haven't. Yeah, maybe he does. I don't know. I actually want to rename him Butler. I would love to rename him Butler. That's oh my God, if I ever marry a rich person, I'm going to have a butler. That's like the dream of like British people, having a butler. I totally agree with you. Yep. Why is that, Mike, though? Why do the Americans, it's not just the Americans, it's the British as well. Why are we doing that? Why do we want to keep up with everyone else? There you go. Wick knows. Yeah, well, yeah. Some people do. Unfortunately, the masses don't. The masses don't. So yeah, so when I used to roll up to people's houses, they'll be renting. Bearing in mind, I don't know if this is the case in America. Actually, this is something that I didn't think about back when I was researching this. It's actually cheaper in the UK to have a mortgage than it is to rent. Is that the same in America? Is it cheaper to have a yes, peace of mind? I do agree with you. I think that's probably why people follow the Joneses. This greed and envy. Yeah, yeah. So is it cheaper to rent in America than it is to buy a house? Because in the UK, it's cheaper to have a mortgage than to rent. Okay, so let's get into it. So why is it difficult for people to save to buy a property? Obviously, we've touched upon house prices have outpaced wages in many regions. There you go. So in the Netherlands, it's also cheaper to have a mortgage. So house prices have outpaced wages in many regions. How house prices have increased faster than incomes, making the required down payment much higher relative to what people earn. Urban areas are especially expensive, like Alexandra G was pointing out, where jobs are concentrated in cities. Towns tend to be more expensive, less expensive. So the further you get away from, the inside the city, the less expensive it is. However, then you've got all the things like traveling costs and all the rest of it. Wages have just been stagnated, and everything has been rising. All the expenses have been rises. Wages haven't kept up. Even as costs rise, many people's salaries remain flat in real inflation adjusted terms. The cost of living is high. Again, rent, healthcare, student loans, food, childcare, transport. This is very basic. This is basic stuff to live in. A large chunk of income that leaves very little room for savings. And then obviously the down payments are exceptionally hard. You need between, I think, 3 and 5% of a down payment. And if you live paycheck by paycheck, that's very, very difficult. Many people need about 20% to buy. Many people need down payments. You can't get. I'm so sorry. Mark was written quite a bit, and I can't read it all. let me just quickly have a little read. I have to put it on the screen because it's so small. It's absolutely tight. Oh my God, Poman's here. Good morning. Good day, Poman. I hope you're well. Yeah, that's right. It's because people want validation and they want to feel special, like they are rich when they aren't. So they go massively into debt trying to show off. That is that is very, very true. Black hat. Wow. Some people do actually. It's ridiculous. And have you noticed when students get their student loan, they literally spend it all, and then right at the very end, in the UK, you get it paid 3 times. I believe you get it paid 3 times throughout the year. I never went to university, and everybody tends to spend it very, very quickly, buying all these like phones and all the rest of it. Dave Digital, welcome. Let me just put, yeah, there you go. Dave Digital, welcome. Everybody just tends to spend it on all the expensive things at the beginning of term, so they kind of run out of money soon afterwards for the rest. And then you do what my brother did. So my brother, because my parents, they didn't I think they did, but I'm not sure how much because I was never around. My brother totally ran out of money. Actually, they used to live on I don't know in America if you have beans on toast. That's literally what people who go to university, beans on toast, pop noodles, and literally just noodles. That's what they have. They literally can't afford anything else because they're absolutely terrible when it comes to managing their student loans. Managing their students' loans, and I do agree with that. Okay, so you have a lot of debt burden. Student debt in the UK now can reach 100k. I know people who have 100k in student debts because they've got multiple student loans. On top of that, you've got credit card debts. Okay, I used to work in a bank once. When people used to open their accounts, all we had to do was sell, sell, sell. Every time we sell, we would get rewarded, you'd get cash incentives, all the rest of it. You walk into a bank and you think that they're trying to help you. They're not. They're only talking to you because they want to sell you a credit card. You feel like you haven't bought anything with the credit card. That's because they're going to give you the credit card. You're going to spend on the credit card. A couple of months later, they're going to check your account. If you use the credit card, then they'll be like, okay, you have £2,000 on your credit card. Why don't you come in? Or what we'll do is we'll give you a loan. The interest rate will be lower. So we'll just consolidate that into a loan, and the interest, you'll be saving money. And it's like, oh my God, you'll be saving money. And I remember I had to call people up. And the worst time, actually, one of the times that I regret in my life was actually working in a bank. And I had to call people up, and I was like, your bank manager would like to speak to you because he thinks he can make you or save you some money. That was just total BS. That was total BS. All they wanted to do was they wanted to put you further and further into debt. Anytime you go into a bank, trust me, all they're trying to do is sell you something. They sell you a credit card. They'll check your account in a couple of months. If you've been spending that credit card, they bring you in, they'll give you a loan, and they'll advertise it, or they'll sell it to you as in, this is a better deal for you. Instead of paying such high, what's it called? Interest rate, APR, your interest pays, it'll be cheaper for you. So we want to save you money, blah, 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 blah. And they'll give you the credit card back as well. So then you'll go out and you'll buy more on the credit card, all the rest of it. And then they did so many other things as well. When you walk into a bank, just know that they just want your money. They don't want to help you at all. Student loans, credit cards, car payments. I'll talk about car payments. So I actually had a friend. She was a lot older than me, and she had her son. This is quite tragic, actually, because her son became suicidal. What happened was he was trying to keep up with the Joneses, just like Mike was saying, trying to keep up with the Joneses. And what happened was his friends had cars. They had cars, and he wanted a car. You need to have insurance, you need the MOT, blah, 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 blah. He got out a student loan. He bought a car. A couple of years later, maybe a year later, I don't know if there's something happened to the car, or he just wanted another car. So he had the loan for the first car, and then he got another car, and he got another loan, and then he got another car. He went through 3 cars like this. Then he got that sort of consolidated. Then he got sold more debt. At the end of it, he had so much debt, which he was keeping to himself. He was in his early 20s. He was keeping it to himself. He would have panic attacks. They would take him to the hospital. They didn't know what was wrong with him. He wouldn't talk to anyone. He wouldn't tell them what was going on, all the rest of it. And it got to a point where he was literally going to kill himself. Because he couldn't see a way out for him. And then what happened was her sister, so his auntie, went out, got a loan, consolidated everything into a lower monthly payment because he'd been missing, obviously, payments and all the rest of it. She had a good credit rating, and then she was able to help them out that way. But this is another thing. I don't know who told this to students or younger people now. What the hell? When I was young, I didn't give a damn what my credit rating was. Nowadays, his brother, so I'm talking about the same family, this lady's family, his brother wanted to take out debt. And when he was asked, when the mum was like, oh, you've seen what's happened to your other brother, blah, 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 don't you dare, you're not going to buy a car, you're not going to get a car loan. You know what mums are like? I bet she filled his ears. And he goes, oh, but you know what? It's going to help my credit rating. So when I go out to buy a house or something, I'm going to have a good credit rating. And she was like, what? She was like, who told you about credit ratings? You're like, I don't know how old he was, 19, 20 or something, like a student, a university student. But this is what's happening to our young kids now. They grow up to fail. That's what they're doing, because all these institutions, even the universities, oh my God, don't get me started on universities. I don't know if it's the same in America, but in the UK, your university degree is basically, most of them are completely and utterly useless, absolutely useless. It's like, what the hell? And I know this because my family have had multiple degrees. Multiple degrees. Before I carry on, because I don't want to go too far into the debt burden, because oh my God, I could tell you stories. Let me just have a quick look at the chat. I'm going to start off from the bottom. Okay, now I do apologize. I'm going to put these on the screen. Where's Brian, by the way? I haven't seen him for a while. The amount of income you receive needs to be more than your outgoings. Yeah, yeah, that's right. Um, yeah, that's very true as well. Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's like when you buy a car, you take out the car loan, but most people don't keep their cars for more than a few years. So, cars lose value as well. I have bought new cars. As soon as I drive it off the forecourt, I've already lost a couple of £1,000s of value. I know that, but the other thing is because I'm in transport and because I want to make sure that I'm safe, I want a car that I can rely on. That's why I do it. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. Let me just have a look. Poman's agreeing with something. Guns are an investment. You'll have to explain that because I'm not in America. I don't know what you mean. Um, oh, Randy, good day to you. Oh, enjoy your week, Randy. Enjoy your week. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is very true. Biomax, are you talking about people who stock food and stuff? Um, I did that in COVID. I did. Keeping up with the Joneses keeps you poor. It most definitely does. The difference between me and my cousins now is the difference between the East and the West. Um, that's true as well. You should always try to get a better deal on your mortgage, um, if you can. David, I do agree with you. Unless you need something, you need that degree for something. Very true. They are. We have apprenticeships now in the UK, and they're much, much better. They really are. Mike saying something very different, very similar. Yeah. So unless you need a degree to become a lawyer, a doctor, blah de blah de blah, there's no point really going for it. Especially these art degrees, all the rest of it. Okay. Okay. Bless him. I hope he's well. No comment. Yeah. Very, very, very wise, Taylor. Actually, I applaud you. I do. I do. I have a lot of respect for people who don't a lot of people like that because your mental health is going to be better, your family is going to be better looked after. You just your health, like when you look after your money and you're able to not a lot of people actually, Taylor, can do that what you're doing. um Kerry, nice to see you. Good morning to you as well. Oh, and Trade Intuition. Hello, Joe. I hope you're well. Bingo bango. You know what I hear? Okay, I'm just going to touch upon this just for a moment. Honestly, seriously, I have a huge amount of respect for most of the people in here. I really, really did do. So I've sacrificed a lot, and then I've also had a lot. When I came out of paying off my mortgage in 2022, I used to have panic attacks because I used to have surplus money that I've saved and I didn't know what to do with it. I can honestly tell you something. I have had two brand new cars. Within a week, those cars get old. They do. They get old. The shine just wears off. Women like jewelry. I like jewelry a lot. My ex used to buy me jewelry. But if I'm completely honest, after you've worn it a couple of times, it it wears off. You don't need that. I will never, even if I could afford a Lambo, I would never ever buy a Lambo. I know we all go, oh, when Lambo. I would never ever buy a Lambo because, oh, Blocky's in the chat. Hello, Blocky. I hope you're well. I hope you found your dog, because I know Blocky's dog had disappeared, and that's very, very difficult. So all of this stuff, and even after the bull run, etc., I am going to be frugal with my money. Why? Because I know from experience. Oh, not yet. Oh, Blocky. I hope he turns up. It's actually very, very difficult when you lose a pet. Bless you, Blocky, and your family. All of this stuff, all these nice things that you want to buy once once we've made the bull run, they're all useless, if I'm completely honest. They really, really are. Coming from somebody who's had quite a lot, coming from somebody whose sisters are married to rich men, they can afford anything. For example, my older sister, when she had her birthday, her husband took her, and she's got 2 children, to a hotel. The price of that room or that suite was over £3,000 for a night. £3,000 for a night. But her husband has a Jaguar. I think it was £70,000, and she has a Land Rover, which was 60, 70, I don't know, just a ridiculous amount of money. And they literally don't care about them now. When you buy these flashy new items and all the rest of it, it just gets so old. I don't buy designer stuff. In fact, I think it's trash, if I'm completely honest. When you see these people walking down the road, and they're all just covered in designer, and it's just like, oh my god, like, you just look. In England, I think it might be different in America. In England, old money, clothing, fashion, jewelry is actually not showing the badge, if that the logo, if that makes sense. When they buy, especially with my family, when they buy logos and stuff, they like the small ones. They don't like it announced where they got it from. Nobody likes to see, oh, this is a Gucci bag, or whatever. Like, who gives a damn, if that's completely honest? I remember when I was again, oh my god, so many things go back to when I was 17, 18 years old. And my cousin, she was the first one out of all of us to buy an expensive bag. It was £400, and everybody was like, oh my god, we want to see this bag. Oh my god, it's so amazing. All the girls was like, whoa, 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 wow, blah, 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 blah. And then she bought the bag out, and honestly, it just looked like like one of those old tool bags that men carry. And everybody was like, seriously, girl, you spent £400 on this? This is so expensive. And it just kind of looks like a tool bag. And apparently it was like the going thing at the time. But yeah, it was for her birthday. It was for her birthday. But what I'm just trying to say is, all this stuff, it just gets old, if that makes sense. There's no point. You go out, you buy an iPhone, or you buy the latest phone, and you're like, oh my god, like, it's like amazing, or the latest laptop, and you bring it home and you spend like 2 or 3 days on it, and it's like, oh man, I spent like £1,000 on it, or whatever. Everything just gets old, and then you're carrying that burden, you're carrying that debt, and god knows how long it's going to take for you to get rid of it. And then let's just look at the other things why people can't save. Is psychological and behavioral factors. People have short-term mindset. It's easier to focus on the present and the needs and the instant desires, the instant glorification. And I think this is what we live in nowadays. It's all the instant glorification, and it, quite frankly, it needs to stop, if I'm completely honest. Everybody's following all these TikTok accounts, everybody's following all of these Instagram accounts, and I'm not being funny. When you see these women, okay, because And they're like, okay, we're a makeup artist, blah de blah de blah, and they're flying all over the world. You're like, well, who's paying for that? You know, like, who are you scamming out of money? Blah de blah de blah. I'm not going to get into it, but I do. Yeah, okay. So it's also the lifestyle as well. So income, as in, everything's getting more and more expensive. Um, so maintaining a certain lifestyle is getting costlier as well. Most people have to continuously downgrade the products that they're buying and the brands that they are buying, even if it's shampoos and things like that. You continuously have to watch the prices and most people are not financially literate. They don't understand budgeting. They don't understand investing, and they don't understand mortgages. They don't understand down payments. They don't understand mortgage rates. They do not understand property taxes. The lack is a lack of also nowadays we have a lack of access to wealth and support as well. We don't have family support like we did generations before us. Many first generation home buyers don't have access to family gifts, inheritance, or co-signatures or similar, because everyone's fighting their own battles. Everyone's, your parents or your grandparents are now struggling with inflation, with all the costs that you're struggling with, and they don't have that extra cash to give to people, and they can't save for a down payment. And then there's also, obviously, we also have some people that do suffer discrimination, etc., because of maybe the color of their skin or their religion, blah de blah de blah. Okay, we're coming up to an hour, and I haven't even got halfway through what I wanted to get through. How much do I have left? I do have quite a bit left. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the chat, and I'm going to come back and do this as a two-part series. So the thumbnail will change, and it will be like part 1, and we'll have a part 2. There we go. That's it. Taylor had to do that. I had to teach myself about mortgage, taxes, crypto, etc. I didn't have a financial advisor. Nowadays, they're very expensive as well. I can, but rather not pay a penny if I can teach myself how to be financially savvy, read books, etc. And that's exactly what happened with me when I was much, I think about 21, I would say, when I became, when I started to look into all the bills, how to get my bills down, how to overpay the mortgage, all the rest of it. And obviously buying that one pizza that lasted me the whole day. Yeah, it is that mindset. It is that mindset. It's the lack of education. We're not taught this at school either. I was quite lucky because I'm from an Asian household. I don't know if you can say I was lucky or I wasn't lucky, if I'm completely honest, because it didn't feel at the time I was lucky. My father, obviously, he's from Pakistan. There was a village from Pakistan. He has, don't know how many brothers and sisters he had. I'll have to count them, actually. I don't really know that side of the family very well. But they would always be waking up 6 o'clock in the morning. And if there's any Asians in here, they will know what this is like. Ringing up, oh, you know what, we can't afford this, we can't afford that. So on his salary, he had to not pay for all of us, but he had to send whatever was remaining back home as well. And as a family, the kids, we really suffered. We really, really did. And that's probably why I don't actually like my dad's side of the family, because I do feel like all they are is takers, if that makes sense. Good on you. I'm not even being funny. I'm not even being funny. You know what? I value that. I value that because you're not playing the game that they want you to play. They want you to own nothing and be happy. Put that money into, obviously nothing I say is financial advice. Kerry doesn't need a Lambo. That's good. Very, very true. How many people come off it? Be honest. How many graduates do we know that have ended up working at um coming out of university and literally working in very, very basic jobs that you don't need a degree for, like stacking shelves, etc. I know so many people who have done that. So I think this is the crypto community. I think we're quite savvy like that. I really, really do. Okay, after the show, please do leave a comment on the main video, a like on the video as well. It really does help the channel. Everything I do, I'm not monetized on crypto, on YouTube or anywhere else. I do this, I do this free of charge, etc. And I've got the groups as well. Um, Very true, blocking. This is something that I will be getting into. You have to have a balance. You have to have a balance. And the reason why I say that is I touched upon it slightly earlier that once we stopped paying the mortgage, I had a surplus of money that then I was literally having panic attacks. I was having panic attacks. I couldn't sleep at night because I had this money. And I was like, what do I do with it? I shouldn't be having this money. I had a very different mindset, and my bank account was showing something else. And then obviously I put it all into crypto. Mhm. That's true. That's true. I think we've been fed this lifestyle and people want to go for that lifestyle. Well done, Mike. Well done. I actually order in food quite a lot, but that's because I'm always exhausted. Gosh, do people take out loans for phones? Just reading down the comments. That's actually if anybody took out a loan to buy a phone, don't ever tell me. Oh gosh, that's such poor decision making skill. That's just, oh my God, I do not respect you at all. AI, yes, exactly. AI is going to be coming for a lot of jobs, unfortunately. Or fortunately, I mean, we have to innovate, we have to move on. Well, this is it. I'm not being funny, but I was talking about this in my Telegram group. And my crypto best friend, Silvio, um, he he's very, very good. He's done very well from himself, very much an average person. Um, but to the point, you live within your means. And I think this is something that I would have done as well. If I couldn't afford a house, I would go and live in a caravan. I'm not even joking. I'm not even joking. You live within your means, if that makes sense. Obviously, I'm not saying a tent because that's a bit. Oh, John Legend, well done for popping on. I'm so glad you're here. Uh, one thing that I hate about America, there's this a culture about tipping. We don't have, I mean, the tipping culture is coming to the UK, and I actually refuse to participate. I really, really refuse to participate. You're already, I mean, I don't know if it's different in America. I don't, but surely you have a job and they're paying you to be a waiter or to be or to do the DoorDash or to do whatever you want, if that makes or whatever you have to do for work. What do you mean 95% of people loan their phone? Like, do you mean they take out loans to buy a phone? Because if they did that, honestly, that's so bad. Oh my God. Uh, I know, David. Yeah, I shouldn't. But honestly, I work too much. Oh, okay, right, okay, yes, okay. Now I do apologize. Now I understand. The phone contract where you pay every month. Okay, yeah, okay, that's fine. I thought you meant they take out because I don't do that. I don't do that. I have a SIM only contract, which means that I only pay for the SIM. The actual phone, I've never done that actually. Never done that. I've always bought the handset out. So the handset that I have, and this is like one of the latest iPhones, it's completely paid off. And then all I do is the SIM free. I don't do that, and I don't think I would ever do that. There is no such thing. They advertise it as in, oh, you get a free phone if you pay for the SIM only option. I pay £10 for this SIM only option. I have more minutes, more data, more text messages allowance than I will ever need. I have never ever gone over any of that. Um, I must admit, I think that's obviously nothing that I say is ever financial advice, but when you're somebody like me who's lived a life like me, if that makes sense, I would never do that. You buy your phone, even if you have to buy a £10 phone, if that's all you can afford, that's all you can afford, if that makes sense. Yeah. I think I'm not joking. That is a very good idea. That really, really is. Now, so obviously, because I interview crypto YouTubers, something that a couple of them are doing is that they bought from the last cycle. I think Lewis and who else is it? I can't remember, but basically they've bought flats or they've bought property. They bought property, they lend out their property in America, and then they go and live in Thailand, or I know he's currently in Dubai. But what he did was he lent out his property in America. It paid whatever it had to pay for, and it helped him as well travel. Um, so yeah, that's an amazing thing. The tipping culture is ridiculous. And the other thing is you feel like you have to do it because everybody else is doing it. And then I've also seen YouTube videos. I honestly, I swear down, I start off YouTube. I love looking at cats. I love kittens. And I start off looking at kitten videos, and I get to the strangest places in YouTube. And I have seen these like a collection of videos, and it's with these people from DoorDash or something similar, or whatever you guys have. And what they're doing is that, oh, you didn't tip us, and we're going to do this, and they do terrible things to the food, and they do terrible things here and there, and all the rest of it. But why? Why? But I don't understand, because if I work, I'm already getting a salary. Why do I need to tip anyone? I don't know. We don't do it in the UK. We don't. I don't know how much do you tip people. I don't know if you've got the money to tip people. You might be a lot more. Who asks for it? The thing is, they should never be asking for a tip. The other thing is, in restaurants now, for the last couple of years, you have to pay a service charge. Or actually, to be fair, you don't have to pay. You can say, I don't want to pay this service charge. Nobody says no to it, though, because if you've been out with your family or your friends, the last thing you want to do is be like, oh, there's something wrong with the bill, blah, 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 blah. So we do pay service charges, and we don't really, well, we don't say anything about them, but that's because they're already in the bill. Hornet, I'll be coming on to that later. Why? But I don't understand why they have lower than minimum wage. Isn't that the law that you should be paying them so and so? But then also, okay, 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 so this is obviously the difference between British and the American, because we're different. Where are all my Brits in the house? Come on, where's Rob C? Is Rob C's not here? Well done, Mark V. Well done. You tipped them $20 for what? I've got a feeling that Uber Eats and Just Eat, they already have the service charge in their bills, if that makes sense. Uh Actually, this is not the latest. It's the one with a really big screen. Let me tell you what this is. Hang on. It's an iPhone 14 Pro Max. So no, it's not the latest. I do apologize. It's not the latest. And the laptop is a MacBook Air 13. Dave Digital. Well, this is it. I think this is it. I think people don't, if you know, you do feel bad. You probably do feel bad, yeah. Look at Dave's like, yeah, you know what? I do pay them, but I rarely do it. I rarely eat out alone. Aaron has a mobile for home, sorry. I wouldn't call it generosity, I would call it something else. Sorry, this is the British in me. Oh, okay. So you're emotionally attached to that. I understand now. Yeah. No wonder Dave Digital was fighting so hard for the tips. My God. That's so bad. Oh my God. I'd be so ashamed. I would just be embarrassed. Oh my God. Are you telling me your waiters make $3 an hour? That's so bad. That's like, I'm not going to say slavery, but that's really, really bad. That's nothing. In fact, it should be it should be on the employers. It should be on them to actually pay them a decent wage because they have to, God, obviously they have to go home. They might have a family, they might have children, they might have a wife or husband or however it works with them. That's ridiculous. $3 here. So I understand if that's the case in America, then yeah, I can understand that. But that's really wrong. That really is wrong. Here we have a minimum wage. I think it's like 12 or 13 pounds. No matter what job anyone does, they can't be paid for less than that. If I worked somewhere where I had to rely on chips, I would be the nicest server and treat everyone like they were my only customers. I would work very hard for my tip. So many just accept the tip. Very true. But I just feel like you should, like anyone who's in a job like that, when you're facing a customer, you should be like that anyway. But okay, let's just get away from the tips. Oh, there you go. Rob C's here. Rob, back me up. We don't tip in the UK, do we? Well, I'm actually really shocked if a waiter, like I'm talking about a man or a woman, okay, a waiter or a waitress get paid $3 or an hour, $3 an hour. Oh, I can't remember what you said now, but yeah. Okay. I could actually understand that though. Sorry, when if it was a holiday, say Christmas or something similar, then yeah, a one-off tip is fine, but not all the time. Oh my God. You've got to be joking. That's ridiculous. How could anyone survive on that? Okay, well, now you guys have got an issue. I wasn't aware of your issue beforehand. Now I'm aware of it. That's a massive issue you've got in America. That's absolutely disgusting. That's people have to pay for their, families and all the rest of it. They have to. So if it's $15, why are waiters getting paid less? Anyway, I'm just going to leave the tip thing. I think everybody here. Okay, so what I'm starting to understand is there's oh, $3 a tip. Okay, right. Okay. Lol. Okay, what I'm trying to understand, what I kind of understand is that there's the massive difference between UK and British people when it comes to tips. Nevertheless, I'm going to end it there. When we come back next week, we'll go further into the reasons why it's difficult for people to buy homes. Okay. To buy homes, especially young people. Like I said before, I couldn't go back to live that lifestyle that I was living when I was paying off my mortgage. It was incredibly difficult. It was incredibly hard. I've done it now. Would I do it again? I probably will have to do something because obviously I'm not going to be living in this property all my life. But I've got options now. When you have your own property and it's oh, war paint. We're literally just about to go now, but we'll see you next week. We'll see you next week. When you have a house like this, for example, then there's so many things you can do. You can do what Lewis did. You can put it on rent and you can go and travel the world. He went to Thailand. He absolutely loved it. He went and he lived in one of such a beautiful place, and it cost him almost nothing. I think I think he said that same property in New York would cost him 4,000 US dollars a month, and it was costing him less than 1,000 US dollars a month. And I saw it. It was absolutely amazing. The scenery was amazing. It was massive. It was so incredibly beautiful. Anyway, we'll come back to home ownerships, all the rest of it, and how Bitcoin can help younger people, get onto the ladder. And then again, we will discuss whether people should be renting or buying, or maybe putting some money into Bitcoin, or how they can have a balance, if that makes sense. Anyway, I'm going to read the chat a little bit more. Thank you so much for joining me today. Yay, no peace of mind. I've got so much. If you guys want to live frugally, let me know. I do have so much. The first and foremost thing I will say is if you dress in designer, for example, just know whatever that you buy in designer. I have a family member who bought a handbag for 3,000 US dollars or Turkish. It was in, I can't remember now, but it was really, really expensive. It means nothing to her now. Absolutely nothing. If she had put that money into Bitcoin, that Bitcoin would have appreciated, it would have grown. We will discuss all of this later. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you next week.